And I'm sure in this situation, a lot of customer service reps would throw up their hands and quit. They might not even realize exactly what happened. They would just go, suddenly we got all these baloney, angry customer calls. What the heck? I don't want to deal with this anymore. This is Jason Kanigan, president of Sales on Fire. Today we're going to talk about a midnight conversation. It was actually about 3 in the morning that I had with a Dutch colleague of mine about change in large organizations and how easy it is to screw things up. Now, what we were talking about was large organizations and how they change, not just in technology, but in processes and the people, the mentality changes that are required when you go and make what you think is going to be maybe even a fairly straightforward technology change in your business. Now, let's imagine that we have a financial services business that has been doing things offline for all these years. They've been mailing out monthly statements to their customers, and their customers get them in the mail and open them. And if they see an error, or what they think is an error, it's just on the paper, and they call up customer service. Now, customer service at the financial company is used to pretty much friendly inbound calls. Hi, I got my statement, piece of paper, I think I see an error on it. Now, the key thing here is that the customer does not have instantaneous access to the data that the company has. And maybe even the customer service agents don't, but they get a time gap. They get to say, well, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, thanks for your call, appreciate it. I'm going to look into this and get back to you with an answer, and we'll resolve this in a happy way. Right? And they go away and they do their stuff. So there's that time gap there, and this is really important. Now, let's say that the president of the company decides, oh wow, I need to jump from the sort of the dinosaur DNA to modern day online DNA and make that digital jump and get all our information online. And our customers will be able to log in and see the information, the data that we have about them and their account right away. And we won't have to mail statements anymore, and we'll be able to cut our customer service staff. Maybe we can reassign them and not just get rid of them, you know. Maybe the guy's got a heart, and let's see what happens, right? And this should help make us more competitive in the marketplace. That's what the thing is on that president's mind. So they go make the IT change, and blammo, you know, first week that this new system is out, customer service discovers something very different than what they expected. Instead of the friendly inbound calls, they're getting angry calls from their customers now. Customers are not just getting a piece of paper in the mail anymore as their statement. They're able to log in and instantly see at the same time that customer service rep sees the data online. Now imagine this. This is terrifying for the customer service rep. There's a huge change in tone, in attitude, in direction of these calls. There's no more time gap for the customer service rep to calm things down. And look, they need an entirely different skill set than what they needed shortly before. Right? Now it's about calming people down and dealing with confrontation and that. And I'm sure in this situation, a lot of customer service reps would throw up their hands and quit. They might not even realize exactly what happened. They would just go, suddenly we got all these baloney, angry customer calls. What the heck? I don't want to deal with this anymore. Right? Plus they see their neighbors getting their positions cut, hours cut, reassigned. Imagine what this does to the culture of the organization. So, in particular, I want to focus on, though, that disappearing gap. That gap is gone in the way customer service is handled, and the fact that the customers now have instant access to exactly the same data as what the internal staff of the company have. And it leads to entirely different engagements. It leads to entirely different ways of interacting. And if you have not prepared the people of your organization, not just the processes and the technology, if you haven't prepared the people for that change, you're in trouble. Now, there is no way that any consultant or supplier of solutions can come in and tell you, hey, Mrs. Customer, this is exactly what you're going to go through. We know the roadmap. This is exactly what you're going to have to suffer through in order to make this change, right? That's impossible. There is no way that anyone, no matter how experienced they are with companies like yours and making these kinds of technological process people changes, can predict anything, everything that will happen. There's no way. There's always going to be the unexpected. So what does this lead to? Now we have implementation projects where there's these sudden and unexpected left-hand turns and nobody knows how to react to it. And the worst thing is both the supplier and the customer have usually tied up all their resources, all of them, in making this change. They haven't left any reserves. They haven't left any slack. And now they're being forced to pull people off of other projects and stick them on this one for firefighting. That doesn't sound like strategy to me. Does it sound like it to you? So this is the kind of thing that I want you to think about when managing change. And it really doesn't matter whether your organization is large, like the ones I'm talking about, 1,000 people or more, or small. Maybe you're a 1 or 2 person business. If you make technological and process changes, you're going to have to make people changes, mindset changes, in order to be able to take full advantage of those and to manage the bumps in the road. I am not saying that there's going to be no bumps in the road, no matter how experienced that person is, somebody like me helping you make the change, because they've seen it. All they can offer are recommendations. You, as the buyer, as the owner of that company, as the customer, have to take full ownership, full responsibility for success of the project, or else it's not going to happen. If you try and dump the responsibility off onto the supplier of the solution, usually of the technology, and say, well, it's their problem, you're setting yourself up for failure. So this has been just a kind of a snippet of a conversation I had in the middle of the night with one of my Dutch colleagues. He was up because it was like, 9 o'clock in the morning his time. I was up because I'm crazy and I never sleep apparently. And so I wanted to share this with you, get this information out so that you can start looking at, well, okay, if I'm going to adopt a new email marketing system, or I'm going to adopt a new video marketing system, or I'm going to adopt some sort of process or technological change in my business, what might I have to do to handle that change fully and to take full advantage of that change? It's not going to happen just by plugging that new thing in there, okay? It's not like you get an upgrade just by sticking a RAM chip into the computer. It doesn't work that way. There are always unexpected bumps in the road, and you need to remember to leave some slack. Let's say you're a 1-person business. That's okay, but make sure that you are not booked solid. Okay, being booked solid is not a good thing. Trust me, you don't have time to mentally relax, emotionally relax, and deal with these unexpected things that crop up. This is Jason Kanigan from Sales on Fire. Thanks for watching.